Welcome to episode 75 of the Guardian 1 podcast. We record live Thursdays at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Guardian 1 Network. My name is Remy, and tonight I am joined by Crimson Warlock.
Hey, guys.
Jez.
Good morning.
Agrios.
Greetings, Guardians.
And Sharks.
Get your beer ready and all your green on. It's time for Destiny.
We are going to be talking about all things Destiny. But first, housekeeping.
Hello, Guardians. Thank you all for listening to the podcast, however it is that you're choosing to listen. Be sure to follow Guardian 1 on Twitter at G1Net. That's G, the number 1, N-E-T. You can also take a look at the Guardian 1 website at guardian1.net. If you do a search on bungie.net for Guardian 1, you'll find our forums group, of which we'll also use for both comments and feedback. Once again, you can watch the show live at twitch.tv/Guardian1 Network every Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. If you can't catch the show live, you can search Guardian 1 for the iTunes podcast, as well as go into the Guardian 1 YouTube channel at youtube.com/Guardian1 Network. Guardian 1 is a proud member of the Guardian Radio Network, so be sure to check out their website at theguardiansofdestiny.com. There you'll find all of the different podcasts that's part of the network, including Amos's Gaming, TTL Party Chat, Robust Radio, Ghost and Echoes, as well as the flagship podcast Guardian Radio. Guardian Radio broadcasts every Monday night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific, on twitch.tv/Guardian Radio. You can also follow their Twitter account at Guardians of D and their YouTube channel, youtube.com/GuardiansofD. That's all I have for now. Moving on.
Thank you very much, Hollow River. Okay, so I wanted to start off episode 75 with a single word, and more than just a single word. This single word is a name, and that name is Spanky. And this person right now is in the chat, or is in the chat, and I am hearing all kinds of clickety-clack from one of you fools. What is going on out there? Are you stapling some papers or what?
I think so.
Not me.
Well, somebody's doing their homework. Someone's doing their homework. They shouldn't be. A few weeks back, for the 7th win in Trials, they were giving out this doctrine of passing, and if you have spent any time in the Crucible at all, you know what kind of monster this is. And so I really wanted to reach that level and get that and have it be part of my arsenal. And as much as I don't like to play to the meta, at some point there comes a time when it's best that you just go with the flow. You know, if you are being stubborn about it, then you are just going to suffer for it. And Bungie has let us know that, you know, they're not just going to jump out there and change everything just because something's a little out of balance. You know, they started talking about you're gonna think back to the beginning when Suros ran the Crucible, and you're gonna think back to when Thorn ran the Crucible. And to be perfectly honest, Thorn ran the Crucible for far too long. but so the doctrine of passing was up, and so I started getting into the mindset necessary to go into trials and pick it up. And I did not get it. And something kind of stuck in the back of my mind. I've never been to the lighthouse before, and so and so I wanted to. I wanted to reach this. I know that there's an update coming up, and I know that Destiny is about to change, and so I wanted to start making a list of all the things that I wanted to do moving forward, so that I could make sure that I was prepared to do whatever else it was going to show up. And so last week I tweeted out, I'd like to go to the lighthouse if anybody has room in their backpack, or something like this. And I got a message from a guy named Spanky Drops Bass, and he said, I'd love to take any member of G1 to the lighthouse. That would be great. And it really, I don't know, that it was really awesome to see somebody so excited to do this, because it's it's probably the pinnacle of Destiny. Like when you think about what the top of the line, what the biggest and baddest and best thing you can do in Destiny is. Certainly there's a hard mode raid, and certainly there's these other things that are also trophy worthy. But getting to the lighthouse is something that not every Guardian does, and I'm aware of people who take people to the lighthouse, and so he said he would, and damn it, he did. Him and Sean, and I wanted to just share really quickly that these guys are just the best. I always imagined the people who always go to trials as being kind of rude, and kind of, I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's not somebody that I would want to hang out with all the time. Like if you're going to trials, if you're going to the lighthouse all the time, it's because you're really good. And people who are really good at stuff, they get a big head about it. And I don't know.
I think you're looking for the word elitist.
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. And so I didn't know what to expect when I went into this. But we got to talking, and I am not in the business of stealing people for Guardian 1. But if I was, Spanky and Sean would be at the top of that list, because they were so helpful and friendly and understanding, and on top of that, they were really damn good. They were really damn good. And this is what they do, is carry people to the lighthouse. They've done it so many times. It's, I don't know, it's an amazing thing. And I just wanted to say thank you to them and to the Agents of the Grind, which is their group. Really amazing group of people who are happy to do this. And I will put a link to their Twitch channel, and a description in the description of this video, so you can go and check them out. And they do a raffle, and it's really just amazing. What they do is amazing, and what they do is great. Um, I just can't say enough good things about them. And it was fun. Going to the lighthouse was so much fun, and it was, I don't know. It felt like, I don't even know how to describe it. Sharks, have you been to the lighthouse?
Yes, sir.
Wasn't it badass?
Yep. Yep. It's awesome. You got to bring your sunglasses, but it's totally awesome.
What did you get? Did you get anything good?
What did I get? Trying to think. Oh, I got the Adept pulse rifle. Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, it's really neat. The problem is that we don't have a lot of people on during the day that like PvP or are good at PvP like that. So it's kind of hard to go a lot. But I mean, there are people in our group that go to the lighthouse all the time, and some of them have some pretty badass guns. But I haven't been a lot of times, so I haven't seen some of those drops. But yeah, no, I mean it's really unfortunate that it is so hard for people to get to the lighthouse, because it's one of those places in Destiny that are They're just so beautiful. I wish that everybody out there could have a chance to go, even if they weren't getting weapons. It's pretty cool.
Well, I tell you what, that's what their focus is. They get people to the lighthouse, and they do it with style, and they do it with class, and they do it without making you feel like you wouldn't have got there without them, despite the fact that you would not have got there without them. And there's never a fee. When I was talking with Spanky about, I wanted the rough information so that I could put it out. He put in all capitals, never a fee. So I mean that's important. Some people might be wary of that because there are people charging. And to be perfectly honest, I would pay. I would pay someone to take me to the lighthouse because I want that. I actually got the Adept pulse rifle as well, and I'm not really a pulse rifle person, but it's cool to have, and it was a higher light than what I had originally. So it took me up to 310. I have a 310 Guardian now.
Yay!
Agrios, have you been to the lighthouse?
Not in year two, so I lack the year two emblem, but I was there in year one, and in year one I got the Scholar Void Scout Rifle, which
Man.
was great for year one because the only other Void primary I had was the Word of Crota, which I hated. So I was quite happy when I got that. Made good use of it in the time I had before, before the Taken King.
Got it. I remember that. I remember you showing me that, and I was really jealous. Well, it's not too late for you to get that second year emblem. I don't know. I don't think it's as cool as the first year one, but it's definitely cool to have. It's definitely super cool to have. Jez, have you been to the lighthouse?
No, I
Do
have
you
not.
do you want to go to the lighthouse? Have you been trying?
I haven't tried except for like the first week that it was ever out. I just haven't had really that much of a drive to because it's just PvP for guns that are copies of guns I can get anywhere else.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're
I
saying.
did, I did get like the only thing I care about out of it, but that's still a year one cloak, and we all know how much useful they are.
Do you still have it?
Yeah, I still have that one.
That's pretty cool. Well, I tell you what, hit up Spanky on Twitter, and I mean, if you're interested, if you're not interested, then don't do it. Crimson Warlock, have you been to the lighthouse?
I haven't. I've only been in trials once, and none of us were really taking it serious. We just wanted to get our bounties done. But I would like to go. I'd love to go to the lighthouse, more for the grimoire than anything else. But I still think I'll try in year two to try and get there.
I found a secret area in the lighthouse. Like I didn't do any. I figured I was never going to get there. Like at some point, when it came out, I just thought I'm not a PvP player to begin with. And by that I mean really that I'm not one of those people who just sits in PvP. Like I'm very much a PvE player. I'm much more interested in hanging out with some friends and playing some content that isn't necessarily pushing me to the edge of what I'm able to do. And recently, what I've been doing in Destiny is just keeping up on my Arms Day weapons and doing bounties and raising my levels. Quick tip for each of the factions, giving them 5 motes of light ups your faction ranking by 100, and that's really sweet. That's a lot. I was sitting on like 1,000 motes of light, and I was able to boost quite a few levels. I got the Future War Cult ship. I got 2 of the Dead Orbit ships, and I got 4 helmets for the Titan. Like what the hell? 4 helmets for the Titan. I just blew so many motes of light raising my level, and I got 4 helmets, and they were all a horrible light level. So that sucks.
Since we're on the subject, farming Glimmer to buy heavy ammo synths to turn in, or strange coins, or like buy heavy ammo synths have a very good conversion rate for doing that too. Modes Light is up there as one of the good things to turn in as well too. But heavy ammo synths will advance you quite quickly too for the amount of effort you have to put in to get them.
Interesting. Yeah, I did not know that. Um, let's see. Oh, but recently I've been craving this new aspect of Destiny, and by new I mean the Crucible. I played a lot of Halo 3. I played a lot of Halo 1. I played a lot of GoldenEye, and so I'm familiar with the setting and I enjoy it. But at some point, I started having kids, and they required more attention than what PvP allows you to have. PvP is not as attention specific as like SRL. SRL made my eyes bleed because I couldn't blink because you had to be staring at the screen for so long. And so it's I've really been craving PvP for some reason. And after playing with Sean and Spanky, I really started to see how how you could win at this and where people succeeded and where people failed. And just listening to their chatter, like I felt like I gained several levels of ability just in that one time. And so I asked Spanky if he and or they would take me to the lighthouse on the PlayStation, because this was on the Xbox. I have a much greater amount of support on the PlayStation, and so I asked if they would take me on the Xbox, and they took me on the Xbox, and so this Monday they're going to take me on the PlayStation, and it's exciting because I'm going to be really, really paying attention. Like I told them, I said, wherever you need me to go or wherever you need me not to go, I'm in. I'm listening. I take directions well. Like I know that I don't know what I'm doing. Like if they are taking people regularly and I had not been there yet, I'm happy to listen. I don't want to be any kind of bother. I don't want it to be extra work for them. But I'm really excited about moving forward with my knowledge on this because let's see. Spanky says it's where is it? PvP is a chess game. You just have to know how to move the pieces. And I really agree. I really agree. Like watching them problem solve the opponent was a lot of fun because they had like a specific place that they were going to, and if that worked, then we just wiped those people out. And if it didn't work, they switched it up and they had little places on the map where it was a constantly evolving set of parameters that they were playing with. And so I'm really going to be paying attention because I feel like if I put effort into it, I could be one of those people who regularly takes people to the lighthouse. Like we are not playing something that is impossible to do. It seems overwhelming because the people that you face, especially in trials, are really, really good at what they do. Really, really good at what they do. And these are the people that have, specced out their guardians in the way that puts the favor on their shoulders totally. Um, and so I don't know. I'm really looking forward to it, and I can't thank the agents of the grind enough. Additionally, though, in addition to Spanky and Sean, thank you very much. I have to also thank Larry because Larry let Sean use his character because Larry's got a bunch of sweet stuff that Sean didn't have, and so that was really appreciated. Thank you, Larry, for letting Sean use your gear. It got me to the lighthouse. I appreciate it. And on top of that, Spanky heard of Guardian 1 through Guardian Radio. So this whole thing started, this whole chain of reaction started because K-Dub was talking about us over there. And that's awesome. K-Dub kicks ass, and I appreciate everything he does. And getting to the lighthouse is amazing. And if you want to get to the lighthouse, seek out Spanky on Twitter, seek out Spanky on his Twitch, and they will work with you and they will get you there. And I don't know, it's exciting. Jez, do you think that you will be trying to go to the lighthouse?
I can't really foresee it anytime soon, but maybe if there was more of a incentive for me, because it's just not super exciting for me, I guess. Maybe if I had a crew that I normally played with, but not just picking together people from my clan, because it's a little bit different to me.
Yeah.
Like playing in a threes environment with I don't know, with three people that you don't gel with, or well, not so much gel with, but like that you've played with for a while, just seems very awkward to me.
You know what? I totally get that, and I absolutely agree. And this is one of the things that really made like Halo 3 and Halo Reach an amazing thing was that sometimes you would be put into a group of people where you would instantly gel with somebody. You know, it's not impossible to think that someone you've never played with would be would be awesome at what they do and also cool and also understanding and helpful. I was just put into a 1v6 match this afternoon. It was the last game I played, and it was such a frustrating feeling. And right after they got the heavy ammo, it was just like, look, I can't endure the next 50 deaths by rocket. And so I meant to tweet out, what the hell, Bungie? Because they dropped me into every single Hell's Chance match, 7,000 points down. Why don't you check this out, Remy? But I'm going 1v6 and they don't give me anybody. It was like 2 full minutes that they didn't give me anybody. And I'm like, look, I just can't do this. Some of the people came up and were sitting down in front of me, but because they weren't all in one group, the other people came and killed me. I don't know. It was frustrating. But yeah, so that was one of the things that was magical about this group, about these two people that took me there, was that they were just so cool and they were so awesome. And so I wrote to Spanky this afternoon and asked if he would take me to the Lighthouse on PlayStation. And well, at first he says, no, sorry, I can't do that. Lol, I'm just kidding. Of course we can take you. And that was really funny. I laughed out loud because I was nervous. I didn't want to be a bother. I didn't want to say, "Oh man, totally take me again." But I told him that I was really interested in learning more about it, and I don't know, I really feel like I gained so much just by watching them problem solve. And it really is a sniper's game. I hate to say it, but Trials is all about sniping. It's all
Well, it's
about
not just about snipers. Actually, this brings up a big point for me. It's about the meta, and I am totally against the meta. I have been trying to play against the meta for months now, but when I played Trials 2 weeks ago, I was like, screw this, I'm sick of dying. So I put on my multi-tool, put on my 1,000 yard stare, put on my grenades and horseshoes rocket, and it's a bunch of BS that it's like that. But yeah, that's Trials for you.
and you know what? And I will live in there. I will live in that meta. Although what I end up using is well, at least on the Xbox, is my sweet DIS 47 full auto super stability. Like that thing is so awesome. I kill a bunch of people with that. But to give you an idea of Spanky's mindset, um, when I wrote him this, he said, "I would love to see you progress as a player and move that into helping others. That's why I do what I do. I want to see others succeed. It's better than any reward I could ever get from the lighthouse." And that kicks ass. Spanky, you kick ass. Honestly, like this right here. Like I said, I'm not in the business of stealing people for Guardian 1. But if I was, I would scoop up all of these people and I would put them at the front of Guardian 1 and I would say, please help these people. There's so many people that need to be helped. Uh, just illustrating how awesome these guys are. So yeah, looking forward to going back to the lighthouse and looking forward to just the future of Destiny. I'm really enjoying Destiny right now. It's a little sad and it's a little exciting that the thing that makes Destiny its best is other people. I love playing Destiny by myself. I do it a lot. I spend a lot of time just soloing just things. Like I love Iron Banner because I don't have to go into a group with other people to enjoy a large scale battle that has rewards that are worthy of my time. Um, But the better things about Destiny are when you get together with other people and you take down something that's bigger than you. And going flawless it feels good. What's really funny is the first match we just got stomped. And I thought I shouldn't have come. I'm endangering the mission. And but then we got a new card, and then we just went straight there. It was a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. Um, with that, why don't we move on? We got a ton of stuff to talk about, and I just wanted to make sure that I started with that because it's just reminded me how much I love Destiny, and specifically in cooperation in this. And it's funny because Trials represents the most of cooperation and the most of competition. I've never faced opponents in the Crucible like I did in Trials. I don't know if there's people out there who only go and play Trials, but that's some fierce competition, and it's fierce cooperation. So yeah, Agrios, what do you got lined up for us?
Well, there's bunches of stuff. Last week we didn't broadcast, so let's start with what happened last week. We had hotfix 2.1.1.3 land, and that was mainly affecting matchmaking settings. They said they updated all the matchmaking Crucible playlists to make use of the higher priority on latency settings, giving even more priority to control over skill-based matchmaking. And they enabled the damage referee for all Crucible playlists. So it seems they are happy with how that is working out. Now, they went on to elaborate, Deej went on to elaborate in the blog that this would also affect the people who are suffering from a longer matchmaking cycle. Now, if you've been observing some of the community feedback lately, a lot of the higher end players, there's videos of it out there, have been suffering from incredibly long load times trying to put together matches full of people at their skill level, basically. So they have loosened those restrictions. And they state in rare instances this may result in matches with wider variance in skill, but it should shorten the matchmaking wait time for those individuals. So that's an interesting change there. Last week we also saw the sounds of Destiny special Twitch broadcast, which started with the Vidoc that they had released about the sounds of Destiny. They also had Bungie Foundation manager Christine Edwards talk about how Bungie's new subscribers, which they refer to as the Vanguards, will help contribute to the different charitable work that the Bungie Foundation is doing. And then they moved on to the live Twitch panel. They had audio director C. Paul Johnson and creative story lead C.J. Cowan talk about the voice acting. And they also had special guests Morla Gorondona and Kristen Potter to talk about their characters in Destiny. Did you guys catch all that?
Hell yes.
Yeah, I expected as much. What were you most impressed about?
Okay, so I love the whole thing. The from start to finish, it was just so full of goodness. The Vidoc specifically gave such a great inside view of what's going on. I almost forgot that's something that they do. It was just so fantastic to see everything behind the scenes like that, like seeing the voices of those characters, to seeing the instruments they use, to seeing some of the additional sets of the hoops they went through to get the sounds that they did. That Jay Wyland, I met him at the PAX of 2013. And he was a super cool guy, and it was exciting to see those steps, because I feel like Destiny is just it. Like, I love video games. I've loved video games since before they even looked like video games. I spent a lot of time on the Atari 2600. I spent a lot of time on the original Nintendo, and I feel like Destiny is just the end all be all. Certainly there could be more. Certainly I want more. But as far as, is this the shit or not, it is. Destiny is it. Like, in my mind, it just doesn't get better. Even though there's other games that have more space to explore, or customization of weapons that I want to see in Destiny. It's Destiny is amazing, and I feel like, and I've said this before, one of the things that Bungie has done so well it was wrong was making it look like it was so easy. And seeing the behind the scenes of all of that, really, there's so much love and so much detail put into that. But one of my favorite things from that sit down talk was finding out that Morla was also she's not only the voice of Eris, she not only the voicings for um, Omnigul, but she was also the sound of Suros, the Suros regime. That's her. When you hear that firing, that's some portion is her. And I'm intimately familiar with that. Suros was my jam in year one. I love the look, I love the sound, I love the feel, everything about it. I still don't understand the reverse compass, but it's amazing, and I love all the behind the scenes stuff. I sat down and watched it quite a few times, and tried to make some notes on what the coolest things were, but just everything start to finish was fantastic. Um, Crimson Warlock, what did you think about those videos, those streams?
Oh, I loved it. It was amazing. It was so much fun to listen to. Just great to hear, just all that different stuff and get to know the process a little bit more. You never think of, in a lot of ways, how long did it take them to get that sound? I mean, sometimes I do wonder, how did they make that sound, because it sounds amazing, but um, for them to go into the process as much as they did with that Vidoc, it was amazing. I loved it. And then just hearing the voice actors and the spoiler not spoiler, sorry not sorry, was awesome.
You talking about Marasov?
Yes.
I can't believe that they just put it out there like that. Like,
Well, it was
oh,
it was almost like,
Each was
oh,
so
I don't
mad.
want to say this, but I just did.
right, right.
Oops.
He said, "Oh, I'm probably ruining Destiny 2020," and I thought, "What are you doing?" Probably everybody in the studio was thinking, "What are you doing?" And later on in the broadcast, they're like, "Oh, well, I don't have anything specific I can say about that." But seriously, like, "Oh, well, when we see Morosov next, I mean, I knew that I knew because they alluded to it,
And
but
see this. Remember, we were talking about this a couple weeks ago. Everybody was like, "Oh, we need somebody like Goth on there." You don't need that. You've got people in Bungie that are
It-
opening their
they're
mouths.
gonna
So.
spoil it. They're gonna spoil things as they keep talking about it. It's just gonna slip out, which
right.
is good. We need that type of
No, no.
stuff.
Do we recall what exactly was said offhand? I wish I would have went and looked up the quote on this
I
ahead of
was
time.
They talked about her
Jez, will you find that?
getting to know her more and knowing more about her planet. That's what they talked about.
Right.
Well, no,
Well,
they
I
were
mean, that
talking
was her
about,
pirate personality. The
yeah,
pirate personality.
yeah.
The kind of strong.
Okay.
Um,
So I wanted to go back and like look at how this was phrased and everything too, because what it occurred to me was like, I mean, the Vex travel through time. I
Yes.
mean, might we get to know like early Marisov rather than
No,
later
they were
Marisov?
talking about present and how strong of a character she is, not was. She is, and we'll see that when we see her on her planet. That's how they basically said
Yeah,
it.
but when we travel back in time and see her on her planet.
Well, then it wouldn't make a difference because then she's still alive. If you're going to start doing time travel bullshit, because look at Doctor Who.
Right. I'm just saying that like we don't know that this means she wasn't killed in that scene we saw.
You know,
That's all I'm saying.
I didn't think of it like that, probably because you're wrong. But you could be right. You know, you totally could be right. But I didn't see it like that. I saw them specifically talking about here. You know, they were working on this character in this pirate form, and
So
then as they went backward, what is that, Jez?
I found the exact quote.
Hit it.
This is totally spoiling like Destiny 2020 or something, but when we get to that world going down the road where the original pirate queen comes out, I think it's going to be a really powerful moment.
See, there it is.
But
When
the
we,
original Pirate Queen,
well,
the
but
original one.
totally, but the
Like a long
original
time.
to them.
But the context was that they were talking about how Marasov originally was the pirate take no prisoners type, and then they changed it to be the softer one. And she was like, "Well, you kind of got the wrong person." But then they started going on about how that's part of her arc. That eventually she's going to be the pirate queen.
Yes. Yes.
Or she was the Pirate Queen. And
No,
then
they
became
didn't say
Knight's character
was.
later
Oh,
and
stop!
sacrificed herself to save everybody.
Stop
All right.
playing devil's advocate. You sound like Deej on
You
Twitter the
cannot
last
say
day.
that time travel is not intimately part of Destiny. I mean, the Stranger, the Vex, it's all about time travel. So
It's funny you say that, but it seems like they try to contain time travel mostly within uh, like the basic Vex storyline and the Vault of Glass. Other than that, they don't really talk about time travel. Because otherwise, the Vex could have totally ruined us earlier. For some reason, they didn't.
Right.
Well, and the other thing you have to think about as far as time travel is it's for other characters moving back and forth. It's not us. We haven't traveled back in time.
Haven't we though?
yeah, how
No.
did we acquire our powers and stuff? What is that?
Didn't the Vault of Glass take us to some other time and place? I
Yeah,
mean, in
both
theory.
portals to the past and the future. One went to the past, one went to the future of that room. They didn't
Right.
take you to another planet. You were still in that room, but one portal was the future of that room. The other
Yeah,
portal was the past.
but the linear timeline isn't going through time.
I see what you're
I
saying.
don't know. I think you're stretching it here, but anyways,
All right.
Well,
it's
isn't there a grimoire that talks about?
But we could go on a mission back to them, like a strike back to the past or something. Like
We're not going to win this one, Sharks. Crimson, what were you saying?
As, I think it was with the one of the House of Wolves grimoire. It might have been the very last mission of House of Wolves. But there's this grimoire that talks about like these guardians that go back in time, and they've done it like thousands of times, and they don't really remember if they're real anymore or what time they came from. I want to say like there was a grimoire card I remember reading that really talked about time travel that way of doing it so much that they kind of lost themselves and lost their identities.
That's pretty crazy. That's pretty
I don't
crazy.
do you guys remember reading that? Anyone?
No, but I'm
Life,
going to look into it
Life. Do you
now.
remember reading that?
it
Life.
sounds familiar, but I don't remember details.
Yeah. Why don't we keep on this? Why don't we keep on this path? Did you have anything else to say about the stream from last week?
No, nothing in particular. We
No,
pretty
not
much.
you, Crimson.
I thought you meant is there more news about the stream from
Oh
last
no,
week?
Crimson. Was that it? You wrapping that up?
Yeah. Just it was a good stream, and like to see more of it. I'm excited for the coming weeks.
Hells yes. Jez, what did you think about the Vidoc and the sit-in with Marasov and also what's her face?
Well, for some reason, I'm more interested in what the Foley artist does, like making new sounds out of weird sounds,
I
like
concur.
the stamping machine turning into the Vex walking.
Right, I'm so totally into that as well. Nine Inch Nails is my favorite quote unquote band, and you know the Downward Spiral is mostly constructed from just sounds that have been manipulated and processed. And seeing that was a lot of fun and super exciting.
And it reminded me as well how awesome the Hive theme is. I think I've gotten away from hearing that from the moon, and it's pretty awesome.
I couldn't agree more. And you know what? When I remember when I first heard that Hive theme, I was like, man, this sounds really awesome. This is really chunky, really industrial, very cool. And I just don't spend a lot of time on the moon. Like I don't take the bounty for the moon. I kind of feel like the Hive are a little too scary for me. I mean, I know that sounds ridiculous, but I would much rather fight the Fallen or fight the Cabal. The Hive are always making these little clicking sounds and hissing. I don't know. Um, but yeah, that was really awesome, and thank you for pointing that out because that was definitely an excellent part.
I think
Um,
spending time away from it definitely helped.
right? I could definitely see that. Sharks, what did you make of the Vidoc and the sit-in?
This is exactly what I was talking about 2 weeks ago. This is what I wanted to see from Bungie, and they came through. It was absolutely amazing. The Vidoc was great. Lots of cool clips. Obviously, they have a lot more clips out there if they wanted to do another one, and lots of really neat information. And it seemed really relaxed. And the other thing that I was really, really impressed with, I actually put this in the stream that day, is that the community weren't asses like they were the week before. They were really into what was being shown, and so you had all the good community members there really hyped about stuff. And it wasn't anything really new. It wasn't new at all, but it was really badass. Yeah, it was great.
I hate to burst your bubble, and I was thinking the same exact thing that you're describing right now. During that part of the show, it was a subscriber only chat room. Like the reason that the chat the reason the
No,
chat
but
was so not poisonous was that only people who were subscribed to that Twitch channel were able to chat in that chat room.
yeah, but I mean, at the beginning of the Twitch broadcast, there were 10,000 people in there, and it still wasn't horrible stuff. I know that the actual sit down and talk part was subscriber, but the the hour before wasn't. It was the same open stuff that it always was. And
Uh,
they weren't. Well, I don't know. I just know in general I didn't see it. Even if it was because of the subscriber stuff, that doesn't necessarily mean anything because there's tons of big time Destiny people out there that would subscribe and still come in there and be really nasty if they wanted to, but they weren't. And
but they
I
weren't.
just thought, yeah, I just thought it was absolutely amazing, that part of it, and then of course everything else. So I mean, I could care right now. I could care less about new content if they brought stuff like that to the table each week. Because I think that that's really entertaining.
Agreed. Agrios, your thoughts on the Vidoc and the sit-in with Eris Morn and Morasov, and then moving on.
I think everybody pretty much already talked about the things that I enjoyed as well. Like, for instance, I too would like to see more from the like Foley artist type stuff. That I was actually from the early descriptions, I was actually expecting that of this particular week, because they talked about how like the bullets make you feel and stuff in the game, and they didn't really go so much down that road with this broadcast. So if I had a criticism, that would be it. But as a whole, I really enjoyed it. The Viadocs have always been extremely high quality. I got to say, I got to agree with Drez about the Hive theme. I actually, when I didn't need to do patrols but needed to farm helium back in the day, I would load into a mission just so when I went back to the surface and patrolled around looking for chests and helium filaments, helium filaments, it would be jamming the awesome Hive theme instead of the normal Moon theme.
Yeah. Cool. Very cool. Moving on.
Moving on. Oh, I just screwed up. 1 second.
Moving off.
Yeah, moving on. Talk for a second amongst yourselves.
All right. Who here's playing the Division?
Yeah, me.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
Nope.
sharks.
yeah.
No
I'm playing
division.
it, and
Me.
you know what? You don't want to play it because you play it, you're gonna wish that there were things that were in the division that are in Destiny, or I mean, and vice versa. You know, there's parts of it are good, parts of it are bad.
Yeah, Sharks and I have had a lot of discussions about that. And I mean, what it comes down to is Destiny was limited by putting it on last gen. I mean, in
Yes.
every angle, that's what you can see is like you can tell Division wasn't on last gen, and you know it keeps running through my mind. Wow, if only Destiny was not on last gen. So,
Well, but
I
I
mean,
mean, I
but
posted this today, and this is totally what I mean is that, and you know, Remy is the same way. Remy was talking about this back in the beginning too. Gun mods. That's one thing that I thought was going to happen in Destiny when Destiny first landed, and it didn't. And I was like, I'm sure I've done something along this line before, but you know, this was it. I just had it in my mind that they were going to do something. I turn on the division, and that's exactly what I've been talking about. What I thought Bungie was talking about from the beginning too. You know, if they put just this gun mod system into Destiny, it would be so much better. And whether it's because of last gen or not, you know, that doesn't make a difference. The fact of the matter is that's something that's needed, and I hope when Destiny 2 comes out, because that's when we would see potential changes like this. I hope that Bungie watch what other games are doing and add some of these other things to the game. I mean, like, you know, Division's fine and all, but it's not Destiny. I hate playing the Division by myself. Certain things are okay, but I mean, like the end game and the strikes and stuff, it's not fun by yourself. It's just I can go in and I can play Destiny and sit there and I could just walk around out in the world and shoot Cabal or whatever on my own and have a great time. It's not like that in the Division, but the gun system, the way they have guns set up, not having to level up guns, not having to do any of that stuff. You know, it's really really awesome. Yeah, I and
Alrighty,
I
back to
yeah, it's
Destiny.
sad.
Back to Destiny. Agrios, what you got?
all right. So, big news this week: Destiny Update 2.2.0 will deploy on April 12th, 2016. Uh, there'll be new PVE challenges, new and updated gear, new quests featuring the belated Chalice Strike, increased max light and rewards, sandbox and crucible updates, and the ambiguous and more. If you have the Taken King, you will get the update, and they're going to reveal the details over the course of the next over the course of 3 weeks. The first one, the first April update preview will be New Things to Do on Wednesday, March 23rd at 11 a.m. Pacific, followed by the next week, New Things to Earn on March 30th, 11 a.m. once again Pacific. And the final one will be Sandbox and Crucible updates. And that one's on Wednesday, April 6th, shortly before the update itself drops. All those are 11 a.m. Pacific. And I can't say, you know, I'm certainly looking forward to this. I hope that I hope these are like the challenges and such like have some depth to them. Let me put it that way, I guess.
What has happened that would make you think that they're not going to have depth to them? What specifically are you looking for?
Well, Destiny started off giving people a certain thing, like the Vault of Glass and whatnot. There is a certain sort of um, mystical quality of having to figure something out as a team. Like, and then they continued that with Crota's End. Like, it was not very clear how exactly to you know proceed in some of these cases. You had to figure it out almost like a puzzle as a team, and I feel like I mean they still have the jumping puzzles in the raids, but I feel like short of like something like that, their events like these challenges could probably display an element of that sort of team figuring out stuff. And I think a lot of challenges so far are just really straightforward.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Crimson Warlock, what do you make of this?
Sorry, I missed the question. I had to go do something real quick. What's the question?
The question was, Crimson Warlock, what do you make of this?
But what's the topic? What am I making of what? I'm so confused.
So they've revealed that there's going to be these 3 new streams leading up to the April update. New things to do, new things to earn, and Sandbox and Crucible updates. In addition to the things that they outlined here: new PvE challenges, new and updated gear, new quest featuring the Blighted Chalice Strike, increased max light and rewards, sandbox and crucible updates, and more. I'm hoping and more is and more vault space. Honestly, I need more vault space. The only 100%, the only downside to going to the lighthouse was that now I have this other crap I don't want to throw away, even more than the other crap I didn't want to throw away. And I still have the same amount of vault space. Like I'm stretching myself so thin here, and I'm killing myself, little pieces of myself, having to delete things, and I should just get rid of it. I'm holding on to 3 Locust Watcher blues from year 1 Destiny helmets, for the Warlock, because they look so awesome. I love them so much, and I don't want to get rid of them. Need to get rid of them. Don't want to get rid of them. It hurts. It hurts. I've held on to these things for so long. So yeah, the only downside of having gone to the lighthouse is that I just need more vault space. And the more I think about it, the more what I'd really like is a kiosk that's not unlike the ones that we have now for shaders and ships. Like I was thinking about this. I think it would be really sweet if I had a way of saving one of each piece of gear. Like, so for instance, when you go to Dead Orbit's vendor, you see here are all the weapons that he has available. Well, how about once I buy this gun, I can just delete it, because I can come back and get it if I want. That's what I've done with the ship. I can only ever use one at a time on each of my 3 characters, but now I'm able to collect these. I don't need to keep them on my characters. I can delete them, and then if I want one, I can go back to it. I really want this. I want a checklist for each of the vendors. I mean, that would keep me coming back so much more, like having to come back and
So
kill arcs.
would you just get a random roll every time you got it then? Or would they have to have an icon for every possible roll of the auto rifle, every possible roll of the shotgun?
So the way I'm thinking this will work is that you will be able to archive a specific one. So like I have a bunch
That
of...
would be no difference than the memory it takes up for your vault, though.
Okay, then I want a vault space for each vendor. But then once you get that far into thinking that, then you might as well just give me some blank vault space. Why?
Exactly. That's what exactly what I'm getting at. I think what they would need to do, I think a solution possibly would be to put a different vault in a different instance. They'd have to create another separate instance, like almost like they could break it up so that the vault in the tower is not linked to the vault in the Vestian outpost. Those would be 2 separate vaults. So you wouldn't be able to see the stuff from either vault, but then you got to look at how are they going to handle that in the app. They'd have to add another tab to the app and everything. But
Man,
I mean, I think that I see that as viable, personally.
man, that's crazy talk, Agrios. All of
The
this is
problem
crazy
is that
talk.
they don't have more memory in that loaded instance to give you more space. They're using up all the memory they have in your tower instance to have that stuff in your vault loaded as it sits now.
Man. Oh well. I just need more vault space. I don't want to get rid of the stuff I've been holding on to.
This might be controversial, but maybe they should just standardize all the guns.
What do you mean? Like,
As in, each gun, you know what you're getting.
And no one would ever grind for anything then.
yeah.
Yeah, this all different kinds of guns.
But all the vendors sell a copy of most of them.
Maybe they should fix that.
Let's see, Jez. what do you make of all this news that has come out? What are you most excited about? What do you think is going on? What do you think "and more" means?
I mean, I'd really love to go back to Prison of Elders,
Are you being
but
sarcastic? You sound like you're being sarcastic.
I was a little bit sarcastic. But I'm probably the only one that thought Prison of Elders was all right, just kind of plagued by other issues that weren't really connected to Prison of Elders. But yeah, the only thing I can see wrong with this is now I got to watch 3 streams instead of one.
Yeah, yeah, and that's bothersome to you.
Well, it's generally when I work, so that means
Ah,
I have to watch the stream later,
got it.
and by then everyone is all talking about it anyways.
Right, right. That sucks. Luckily,
It being the last to know.
right. Um. So yeah. So what do you think about all this? Is this good times?
It's definitely what Destiny needs right now, but um, we'll see how much it actually is when it's here or when it's talked about.
Got it. You know what? You reminded me of something I wanted to say. I started off my relationship with Destiny in the community as somebody who made a lot of speculative analysis, and I've started to feel like just how do I explain this? Like I feel like I am being this kid at Christmas who's like, "Oh, in this box is a brand new computer, and in this box I'm getting all the video games for all of the systems, and in this box is a bicycle." And instead, what I get is like books and some shoes, and like I'm totally unappreciative of what I have, and I've really started to like speculation has really started to leave a bad taste in my mouth. I'm uninterested in doing it, and just thinking about speculating about what these things could be has really, I don't know. I feel like a spoiled brat. I feel like a spoiled brat who's just made this wish list, and if I don't get what I want, I'm going to cry about it. I still am, however, interested very much in talking about what I want instead of what I think is going to happen. I know that there's a very thin line there, but like you're saying, I'm just really interested in seeing what it is that they say. What are they going to tell me? Like I don't want to speculate what it. Just tell me, and then I will talk about that. I'll tell you if I like it or not, because I feel like that's a good community member's job is to give honest feedback. But yeah, I just can't wait to see what they're saying. Um, Sharks, what do you make of all of this news?
I make that we haven't gotten any news this week. The only thing that was new quest featuring the Blight and Chalice strike. That's the only new stuff that we've heard. Everything else they said a month ago. They said that we were going to have new PvE challenges. They said we were going to have new gear. They said we were going to have max light reward, new increase to max light rewards. So I'm excited because they've given dates to when they're going to talk about it. But I'm not excited for the news because there was no news today.
Well, I mean, we didn't talk last week. The show was canceled last.
No, this wasn't. But this wasn't last week. This is something that they talked about a month ago. This is something that Deej said we're going to start streaming, doing Twitch stuff, and then we'll talk about the new PvD challenges and everything else. So we knew that this stuff was coming. It's just the only thing that's new is that they actually named one of the quests, and they gave us dates for when they were going to stream stuff. So as far as like the update this week, I'm not excited about it at all because I don't think they told us anything.
Man, I don't ever say this, but the salt is real.
Well, no, I mean, I go back to I've been enjoying everything that they've been showing on the Twitch streams, but as far as the it's not weekly update, it's this week at Bungie. I think that it's a bunch of BS because they don't tell us anything anymore, and this week really proved it because the only thing that they told us in this week at Bungie was times and dates for when we're going to talk to you.
You
And
know,
I mean,
maybe
that
I'm
may be
just
hard. Yeah, go on.
maybe I'm just a beaten dog, and I'm happy to not be beaten. But this, I don't know. It made me excited. It made me excited to know that March 23rd we were going to find out what new things to do. But I guess you're right. I guess they haven't really told us anything. I felt good about it. Agrios, what do you make of this? Do you feel like sharks, or do you feel like me?
Both. I agree with Sharks that the only thing they told us was the Bladed Strike quest, but I feel like the first thing we were going to find out was we're going to find out this stuff on this date. And since we didn't have that yet, I knew that was going to be the first thing we were going to find out.
Yeah.
So us finding out the name, the Bladed Strike, the Bladed, what was it again? I'm not looking at my screen.
The blighted
Whatever.
chalice.
The Bladed Chalice Strike, right? Uh, and the exact dates that we're going to find out specific things about the update, that was enough for me to be excited about it. So I agree with both of you wholeheartedly that they told us almost nothing, but the one thing they did tell us was enough to get me excited about it.
Got it.
Also, the picture.
Also,
yeah.
the picture, right? That might be the most exciting bit about the whole update this week was their display of the new gear. Now, I assume they're wearing pieces of armor, but do those armors specifically glow? Like if you get the gauntlets, are you going to glow like that, or is that a shader, or is that not even us? Is that who we're going to fight in the new challenge in the new strike? Are we going to have to fight a trio of evil guardians taking guardians?
Well, that's something I wondered, because if you look at the gear pieces that they have on there, that seems really similar to gear that we have now, with just a different shader on it.
It's so similar. It's the exact same stuff you got from PoE.
Is that what it is? Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it could be updated gear. Who knows? And it could be exactly like what Jez is saying. Maybe that's what we're gonna do, is we're gonna go back and do stuff like that in challenge, which would be cool. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. It looks really similar.
I have to say that this is a shader. This has to be a
Well,
shader.
the thing is, I'm pretty sure there's lore somewhere, and someone will probably have to look this up, but I don't think orcs can take guardians.
Ooh, that would be cool. That would be cool to know. But yeah, I would say that this is definitely a shader with the Prison of Elders stuff on it. I didn't get the Titan chest piece, so I don't know that that's what that is. But yeah, I mean, I would say that it's just a shader. It's strange that it's Prison of Elders. I mean, is it possible that Varix has captured and imprisoned some Taken, and so there will be a new section, or
Oh, I got it!
What is it?
It's a clue. They're gonna take an FI and move the level up on Prison of Elders.
Yeah.
Well, it seems obvious to me now. I didn't realize it before, but since Jez pointed out, it's that there weren't full sets of the Prison of Elders armor. People have been clamoring to have the old stuff brought up.
Yeah, but
he's been going around taking people.
Weren't you listening to Remy? Remy doesn't like speculating.
Remy doesn't like speculating, but I love wildly speculating. In fact, the opinions I don't give are the opinions I don't got. You guys know that.
But yeah, I don't know. It's definitely cool. Looking forward to whatever that is. All right, what else you got, Agrios?
All right, so we talked earlier about the new subscriber program with Bungie and the Bungie Foundation working toward the charitable ends, and they call them the Vanguards. And this week they announced a whole array of new emotes, not to be confused with in-game emotes. These are Twitch chat emotes. Our own Jez was demonstrating some earlier. I believe he will continue to do so, likely. And you can see many of them, if not all of them, I guess, in the weekly update. So that's something they are definitely supporting that end. They're supporting their Twitch streams very, very clearly here into the future. This is definitely a big deal to them. I like it. More communication with the public's better, and I think putting faces on people, it gives the trolls, or it gives maybe people who are borderline trolls, a lot harder time just hiding behind a wall of text, so to speak. You know what I mean? It's easy to be mad at a page of text, but I think the developer is getting personal and, letting people be able to identify with them in their situation, I think is definitely a good angle for all this.
Nicely done, Jez.
I also like that, we actually know that Bungie is using whatever funds that they don't need getting from Twitch to go to something much more important than themselves. Being able to use those funds for a cause that helps other people is pretty awesome, because I honestly don't know of any other developer that has their own in-house charity fund. So it's pretty cool to hear all that Bungie is doing with the Twitch subscriber money.
Definitely. Definitely. All right. Moving on.
Moving on. So
Wait a second. I subscribed. Crimson Warlock, did you subscribe?
No, I haven't quite decided if I want to yet, other than I do want those emotes, but I haven't yet.
And you can only use these if you have subscribed?
correct.
Yes.
Okay, so Jez, that means you're subscribed. Sharks, did you subscribe? Oh, I saw you. My 7-year-old pointed you out on the stream. Agrios, did you subscribe?
I did not.
All right, is this a... Are you
That
taking a
was
stand?
very vehement.
I don't have any particular reason. I just did not.
Got it.
It goes, that money is better. It goes towards something as opposed to the silver you buy. So you should subscribe.
I try to funnel all of my money directly into corporate greed, so I don't know if I can support this.
Excellent. All right, moving on.
Moving on. All right. So they talk about the new clan leaderboards that are going to appear as part of the April update. They show examples in the weekly update. The data there is just placeholder for now, but it gives you an example of what kind of categories you'll be able to look up to see how you rank among those in your clan. Along with this update, they're also going to have to change the clan setup just a little bit. If your clan includes more than 100 people across 2 platforms, such as PlayStation and Xbox, you'll see your members broken out across 2 rosters in your existing private group, and they'll be those 2 divisions will need to be given unique names. So if there is anything that'll need done by you, you'll be contacted via a private message on Bungie.net to let you know what's going on. And once again, this hits on April 12th. So I love data feedback. I'd love a lot more of it. I'd love to see a lot of heat maps, but stuff like this is a good start.
Yeah, heat maps would be really cool. This is really awesome. I like that we will be able to kind of passively keep an eye on our fellow guardians. Like it's exciting to see like what is Shark's longest single life. What does that even mean? Are we talking about on a patrol mission, or and how do you wrangle that in, and how long is it going to take Agrios to just be sitting in a mission to be beating Shark's time, to be on the top of this board?
Well, I know some of the times. I bet you there's a good chance Sharks and I are going to be tied.
Oh yeah.
Because the longest single life, is that what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, in a Nightfall it says.
Oh, in a Nightfall? Is that what it is specifically?
Well, okay. So there's 8 slides, and
oh yeah, I see. It's under the Nightfall category. Correct.
Yeah.
Right. So I was gonna say it was gonna be because it said like 7 hours or something in their example. I was thinking it was gonna be Flawless Raider.
There it is under raid as well. Longest single life.
Well, yeah, that would be me and Sharks would probably be tied during our Flawless Raider run.
Unless here's the unless, because I've seen people do this for other stats. You go in for a Nightfall and go and shoot stuff and dilly dally around for a couple hours. Just make sure you don't die in the easy zone outside, and then go in and do your Nightfall.
So in Just Cause 3, there's this record for floating the longest, floating in your wingsuit the longest, and I held that time for a while, and I tweeted out about it to Jez, and he says to me, he's like, "Well, when I get done with this, no one will ever be able to beat it." And so he stayed up there for, I don't know, I think it was like 20 minutes. I think that was his longest, and he said that, oh, he just messed up, but now there's a jetpack in there, so good luck now. There's going to be people up there for hours. I guess it really just depends. How long do you want to sit in a raid? How long do you want to? How long do you want to take this? Is it worth it? Is it worth it to have that most?
I remember I held a record. It was a really odd record, I actually thought, anyway. But like when you used to log into Destiny back in the day, when it was first year early Destiny, there used to be records on the PlayStation home screen
I
where it would
remember
rank
those.
you and your friends with certain stats. They took those away at some point for whatever reason, I don't know. But I know for the longest time I was the highest amongst my friends for kills inside a strike because like week
Oh my
2.
god. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I remember. This is why I'm saying people are using it. That's hilarious.
Yeah, so it's like week 2 of the game. I was soloing the Nightfall as a level 24, I believe, or maybe it was one of the heroic strikes. I don't remember how it was then. It was whatever I could barely do at a level 24, and soloing it was ridiculous. And it was Fogoth, and I got to that room where the 5 witches come out at the very end. 5 wizards come out at the very very end, and it took me so long to beat that. I was in that one room for hours trying to get past it. Way harder than the Fogoth portion solo, and I ended up with like 8,000 kills at the end of that strike, and that's what the
Man,
stat was. So,
man, what did you get out of that strike?
well, I don't remember, but I was only level 24, and it was a high end strike that week. It wasn't a Nightfall because I wasn't getting kicked back to orbit because that's what happened then. So this would have been whatever was the hardest heroic strike I could do, and I was only level 24, so it was a little rough. I know Fogoth was actually pretty easy. I just had to run in a circle, I remember, around his room nonstop and just plug little pluck, 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 pluck shot at him until he finally died.
Man, that's
I didn't
crazy
even use
talk.
the cheese room because I wasn't aware of how it worked or how to get around the Shrieker yet. I didn't know you could back up into that little room and get the Shrieker, not the spawn or whatever.
Yeah,
So
crazy. All right, where were we? Moving on, or was somebody going to talk next?
well, we were talking about the clan leaderboards. I don't know
Yes.
if you got around to everybody or not.
Anybody have anything else to say on these clan leaderboards? Excellent.
Nope.
Moving on.
All right, so next they talk about the Bungie Gear Manager. Now you can move gear directly from one Guardian to another. This is much better than the way it was previously, and it's similar to how programs like Destiny Item Manager, and other third-party apps have been already functioning for quite a while now. One note: if you're going to do direct Guardian to Guardian transfers without it like getting stopped up somewhere along the line, you need to make sure you have at least one open slot in your vault and at least one open slot in the Guardian that the item's getting moved to, so to ensure everything works out smoothly. Now, they're not really clear as far as they do say that you need to have at least one slot open, but does that mean you need to have one slot in your weapons, one slot in your armor, and one slot in your general, or will simply one slot anywhere in your vault facilitate the way their program works?
It's for whatever it is you're transferring.
That's what I would guess too, but I didn't know if
No, I
they
mean
have.
I know. No, I know it is because I've tried it. You have to
Okay.
have it has to be for what you're transferring. So like
All right, so you actually have to have 3 slots open in your vault if you really want to be able to transfer everything, one in each category.
Yeah.
Yeah. Precisely.
But that's all about that. I was glad to see that the official app's finally catching up with the third-party apps out there that are already quite good. Next, we go on to the movie of the week. The movie of the week this week was 12 Swords. It's 2 sets of 6 Guardians getting together on a PvP map to demonstrate. I want to say the power, the beauty, I guess, of the Arc Edge, or not the Arc Edge. What's the fully upgraded Arc Edge called? The I can't remember
Can't
the name.
think.
Yeah, I can't remember the exotic.
They're
It's the
all
exotic.
very emo setting names.
I can only think of Ray's Lighter right now.
Yeah.
That's what's coming to mind.
But
Stuck in my
anyway,
head.
it's a great
Boltcaster.
video. They
Yeah,
do some
Boltcaster.
the old cast, yeah, exactly, and they do some really great shots of all these guardians doing different things, shooting their bolt casters, as well as throwing some Titan hammers in there when they were out. So I highly recommend checking that out. It's a beautiful video.
It is a
Uh,
beautiful
the,
video.
the runners up are definitely worth checking out too. One's a really lucky / good run in the Crucible of a Sunbreaker Titan using Sun Charge to great effect. And the other one is quite funny. It's Destiny dating. It's some creative video editing of various like busts of Guardians doing their dating videos, and it's pretty on point with some of the inside jokes it makes.
Yeah, that was way funny. Watched it and thought it was really great. Good job, Guardians. Continue.
And that pretty much sums up this week in news. I know last week there was also I want to at least give it a mention because I think it's a really excellent site. They had a community focus, the Ishtar Collective, which is a grimoire organizational site. You can look up all the grimoire and most of the details from items if they're referencing a specific character or main topic in Destiny, and you look it up by topic, and so you can click on Dregden Yor, and it'll give you all the Destiny grimoire and lore on Dregden Yor they have. So it's a really great site for trying to figure out anything you need to figure out, especially if you really want to know quickly. You can actually get to the point pretty quickly there.
Yeah, great site, great resource. Definitely something that when I want to know more about something is definitely I go there. Excellent, excellent. I'm really glad that they could that they got their focus. Cool Mug 85 says, I just might have noticed something too. Is that the reef that the Guardians in the picture are standing in? I would say that is definitely where they are. Um, or at least that's definitely what it looks like. You know, some kind of. Although it looks kind of
It
more.
is.
It looks kind of more wreckagey than I remember.
Oh, it was all wreckage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then there they are.
Well, and this is after the war, so it could be even more wreckage now.
It also fits with the PoE thing, so
It's right before we go back in time to see Marisov in her early days.
Okay, so yesterday I tweeted out a Destiny confession. I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I wanted to open up the floor for everybody, you know, in case some people had something that they wanted to say out loud, kind of take the power away from it, away from this, you know, the negativity. And so I tweeted hashtag Destiny Confession. I can't hit anything with Hammer of Soul. Reply with your confession, and we will talk about it tomorrow on the G1 podcast. I can't do it. I know that the Sunbreaker Titan and the Hammer of Soul are supposed to be this. They're supposed to be this amazing destructive power, and trust me, I still run when I hear that thing. When I hear it, the clang, and I just can't do it. I've tried to be the Sunbreaker, and I've tried to make it work, and I just can't hit anybody or anything, and I just feel so impotent as a Sunbreaker Titan. I should be getting 3-4 kills out of this, and I can't hit anything. And it feels horrible. But let's see what some people replied. Fuzzle replies, since TTK released, I have killed Oryx only once. We always stop after daughters because time. And that sucks. I've only killed Oryx once too, but I've only really tried once. So so there's that. Fuzzle also says, fun fact, Dato's Destiny carried me through my first Vault of Glass hard mode. which is really cool. Datto kicks ass. I'd love to do a raid with him too. Air Bubbles says, right when I got my first Warlock cloak, I thought Square was equip. I dismantled it immediately. My boyfriend won't let me live it down. And it was the good one you get from the Vanguard in Vanilla Year 1. That sucks. That sucks. Dismantling things is, man, what a horrible thing. And this was before you could lock gear, right? Like that's that's horrible. Um, Strider says, sometimes I use my teammates as bait in PvP. Parentheses, I wish to remain anonymous. And then Jaded says, I sometimes like to lead the entire enemy towards my teammate when he uses me as bait. That was really great.
That's perfect.
This one was really funny by Unalala. Um, she says, my team has a raid dance that includes rapid squats. I forgot I had Shade Step on and teabagged myself off the ledge at hard mode Oryx. Oh man, I can totally see that. That is hilarious and also unfortunate. Sorry to hear that, Unalala. Drew Hilliard says, I have the same problem with Nova bombs. My fire team just assumes I'm going to whiff it every time. that's that's really sad. I'm sorry to hear about that. And you know what? I've definitely missed my fair share of Nova bombs. But I feel like because it hits in such a wide area that as long as I'm not aiming for a an opponent, I'm able to kill them. So that might be something that you might want to look at. Try not to hit your opponent, and that might be the way you hit them. River says, I always die if I'm holding the brand of the initiate when fighting War Priest. I don't know why. And because I've only been through that part once, I don't know that I've felt that pain. Sorry to hear that, River. Thank you for sharing. Silly replies to River, lol, same. Rarely do I live through getting the brand. Sorry to hear that. Crimson Warlock says, I misjudge the Warlock movement for Nova bombs, and it hits walls more often than not. That is horrible. And you know what? If I was going to not if I was going to not say that I missed with the Hammer of Saul, I would definitely put that rockets. I always am putting rockets into pillars right in front of me because I'm jumping through the air to get a good shot, and there's always something coming out of nowhere, and so
So like
that's
I use my Nova Bomb and I jump and then I use it and I glide like right into a wall or close to a wall and it clips it and just explodes and I'm just like
Yeah,
man.
for me, it's Night Stalkers and door frames.
You know what? I was just going to say that, Agrios. So when I was in trials with Sean and Spanky, both of them died, and all three of the enemies were coming towards me, and I made this almost amazingly clutch play where I killed the first guy. He came around the corner, and then I jumped up in the air and I arrowed one dude, and then there was a guy down the hallway, and I arrowed the door frame, and then I arrowed the door frame again. It was so close. I was so close to being the man, and definitely in front of two really great players like that. That would have been the time to really, shine. It's horrible, horrible, horrible. And you know what though? It's fun. It's fun floating through the air and taking those shots. But yeah, door frames, totally, totally right. Our Velvet J says, I no longer rampage with mine, talking about the Hammer of Soul. I use it like a sniper and peek and shoot. Question, are you using tracking? I certainly am using tracking. I certainly am using tracking just because I want to make sure I hit something. The tracking doesn't seem to work for me, though, or I'm just so far off. I just can't even imagine why I can't kill anything with it. Stone says, my character sits at light level 240-ish most of the time because year one Iron Banner armor looks the best. And that's thank you for sharing, Stone. I can definitely feel you there. I oftentimes use weapons that were year one, oftentimes to get done with killing a certain amount of enemies with a specific element. And also the year one armor looks cool. I don't have any of the year one Iron Banner armor though. I was not playing PvP at that point. Thank you for sharing, Stone. Agrios says, I've never completed the Oryx raid battle on hard yet. Parentheses, mainly for lack of trying. That's crazy. Agrios, you've never beat the hard mode yet?
Nope, never completed. I've been to Oryx many times, but it's been like I had to have like over half the group disband because of time issues, or we tried it, 2 or 3 runs, and then people just ran out of time, and we didn't feel like LFGing for the rest because we'd already been playing all day. Like we used to have like a regular raid group every Saturday at a certain time. The whole clan got together and raided, but we haven't had anything set up like that in a while, and it seems like most of the other people that I regularly played with schedules kind of conflict with mine now. So those things there, coupled with there not being much left to do or almost any reward for me completing it specifically, and there being several other games being released over this period of time that I really want to play elsewhere. It's just all that
And
stuff coupled in a big pile.
lack of vault space.
And lack of vault space. Yeah,
What are
because
you gonna do
that
with
goes
it?
along with that. There's no reward that I want to get because it's just, higher light level stuff, if anything.
What is the recommended light level for hard mode? Is it 310?
I believe.
Okay. Um, this one, and Unilala's were my favorite. Gray Ghost says, I forgot to enable Shade Step on Night Stalker. The result is a hilarious image of me teabagging air while getting shot to pieces. I thought I laughed out loud for both of those because it was the exact opposite. She forgot that she had Shade Step on. He forgot to enable it, and so the results were hilarious. That's so hilarious. Much funnier than I'm gonna try and Titan Slam. And then instead I throw down a bubble. That one's really. I mean, you're safe, for the most part. It's unfortunate, but it's not as. It's not as. It's. I don't know. I don't know. Getting shot to pieces. That's hilarious. Teabagging yourself off the cliff. That's hilarious. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Grey Ghost. Um, Light of the Abyss says, I suck with shotguns and I don't like Last Word. This is really great. I totally feel you on this one. I suck with shotguns too. I don't like Last Word either. Thank you very much for sharing. Um, Jez says, I forgot to reply to this. Also, I have only I have only turned on Destiny for a few minutes for about a month. This is crazy, Jez. I know that we've talked about this just about every week for the past couple of months. You just haven't had much of a reason to turn it on. What's it going to take? What's it going to take? Are you excited about like new things to do or new things to get, or what is it going to take to bring you back, or does it have to do with like a group of friends who have started playing something else? Like, what is it going to take for you to play for more than a few minutes in a month?
Well, I guess it's a little bit of a time thing, like not having the time to play it with so many other games happening at the same time, but also it's just every event lately has just been PvP, and that's definitely not my focus.
Got it. Got it. That makes sense.
Like the last time I played was for the Valentine's Day event, and that was 7 matches, and then I was done.
That 7 matches really brought me into the fold of PvP. It felt really good. I really liked doubles. That was a lot of fun.
I suppose actually I played more than 7 matches, but yeah.
Young Khan says, I missed all 4 of my golden gun shots in the open pond of Rusted Lands wearing Acleophage symbiote. Yeah, that is unfortunate. Especially when you think about how final golden gun is. It's more deadly than that Hammer of Saul, at least the Hammer of Saul, you can get out of its way. Golden Gun, boom. As long as you have somebody in your sights, that's the end of that. So yeah, that sucks, man. Thank you for sharing. Um, Spencer Liu says, I still have never been to the lighthouse. I want to tell you, Spencer, that this is not, you should not, feel as bad as you should about this. Getting to the lighthouse is something that is definitely possible. There's definitely resources out there to make it happen, but it's rough. It is really the deep end of Destiny. It really is. PvP is like the pro version of Destiny. With every other thing, you can find hiding spaces. You can find you can get tactics going on. Going to the lighthouse, it's rough. So don't feel bad about this. Contact Spanky. Spanky drops base. They will help you. They love to help people. Very interested. You should have heard the excitement in their voice when they found out that I had just never been there. Like this was like not only were they helping me, and that's something that they enjoyed doing, but I had never been there, and so they were extremely excited about that. Agents of the Grind, look them up. Um, Momega or Momega says, I still run around with Sunbreakers equipped. I kind of wish they made it to year 2. Warlocks need more and better stuff. Uh, and this is, yeah, going back to year 1 equipment. I still have my, well, not, what is it? Not Kepri Sting. Which one didn't make it to, was it Don't Touch Me? Did those not make it to year 2? Or
No,
what?
Don't Touch Me didn't. Kepri Sting didn't make it to year 2.
Okay. Yeah, I kept both of them just because there's a time and a place.
I keep all year 1 versions of weapons that never made it to year 2, but I
Same
didn't
here.
keep any of the year 1 versions of ones that did make it.
Same here.
Yeah. um Rare Unicorn says, I'm crap at sniping. uh and I definitely understand your pain there. Especially in a world of where everybody is sniping, if you're not, if how do you practice something like that? I'm assuming that you're talking about PvP as well, because PvE is a lot more forgiving. So I would say just keep at it. You will get there. Especially if you're using something that has like hidden hand. Hidden hand will help you very much. I hear short gaze has a really great aim assist. Um, let's see. Thank you for sharing, Rare Unicorn. Um, DJXYZ0 says, I deleted one of my 3 hunters for a Titan to explore out of area places cuz garrison. I keep overshooting my jumps. That's hilarious. My dad didn't realize when he first started playing a hunter, he didn't realize that you could just turn off the jump at some point by like pressing the button again. So every time we went anywhere, he would do his jump and it would just keep flying and then he would die when he hit the ground. So that's definitely something that you should look into. uh, because personally, I feel like the Titan jump is the easiest one to control. I mean, I've been playing a hunter for a lot longer since once I started playing my hunter. But yeah, thank you very much for sharing. Overshooting jumps is sad times. Um, Alien Invader says, "I have your solution, Sun Charge. I don't know what that means. Oh, that's the shoulder charge, isn't it? Oh, you know what? That's not a bad idea. Does that lock on like the Blade Dancer? I think it might.
I think it does. A
Oh
little bit
man.
like a.
Yes, it does.
Oh man, you're right. That definitely could be my answer. I will look into that and I will get back to you. Um Connor Coburn Roth says, I still wear Prison of Elders armor for even I run out of things to do alongside Lord of Wolves. That's cool. That's cool. I enjoy wearing old armor too. The only thing that bothers me is when I forget that I'm wearing low light level armor and I go and I turn in engrams, and then the gear that I've just decrypted is really low. That sucks. That sucks a lot. Um, let's see. And finally, Kim says, I got 320 on my main and hit a wall. There was no more carrot for me to keep going. Yeah, I hear you. And that's something that I actively worked against, when it was revealed 320 is the highest light level. I was in no hurry to get there. And then I saw how hard it was to get there, and then I realized that I didn't want to put in that kind of effort to get there, because once I was there, what would be the point of there was no more carrot. So thank you very much for sharing. Thank you all of you for sharing. It made me feel better to say it out loud. I couldn't hit anything with Hammer of Soul. And I hope that you all feel better as well. We did have Lawn Boy in the chat says, something about. Man, a lot of people have chatted since then. Lawn Boy says, "I suck with heavy weapons," and that's got to be really sad times. Especially because it's such a a powerful point in PvP. It's really a make or break thing. There have been times when I've had that one guy on my team or that one guy on the other team where they just keep killing people until heavy ammo comes back around. Like, they just sit there with their heavy machine gun, and they just use it the whole time. So sucking with heavy weapons is definitely is definitely a sad time. Um, let's see, anybody else? Okay. So yes, thank you everyone for sharing. That was a lot of fun for me, and I'm going to try and include the community again in further things like this. So Agrios, what else? What else do we got?
I got nothing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have some things I can go into, but I have nothing news wise. I could share some interesting like SGAs about Destiny and whatnot, but I have nothing else news wise. I know I saw you link something earlier, but I didn't have a chance to go into it. Maybe you can elaborate more. But uh, there was a Polygon article about something with the GDC conference.
Oh yeah, Dave Candlin.
Yeah, I totally missed that till I saw your tweet right before the show. So maybe you could share something about that.
Yeah, so yesterday at the GDC 2016, he gave a talk on the user interface of Destiny and how it evolved over the years, and that has not been released yet. He did answer some people's questions regarding that it was at some point it should be released. Um, but let me go back to my Twitter, and I will pull up a picture. It's just so much information coming out of this talk. All right, so everybody watching, this is what the user interface for Destiny looked like at one point. Like, it's so crazy to see. And then look at here. I believe that this object right here is the ghost. This is what the ghost looked like at one point. Um, and I don't know. I want to watch this. I want to watch this talk so badly. It talks about how the director looked different, and so the article basically just spelled out that that it all looked way different, and at certain points in the development, like Jason Jones would come in and like at first he said, he told Dave Candlin and his team, like I'm paraphrasing here, but this is basically exactly what he said was take weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks to get this right. Like they, their currency was time and they knew they had to get it right. So they did it. So they spent the time necessary to really work out these bugs, and he explained how they figured out what they were going to do with the cursor, which I think was really genius and works really well. So this is going to be something to keep an eye out for, because I don't know, I'm super invested in Destiny, and also I don't know. This is like one of those things like a Vidoc. Just knowing more about this makes the whole thing that much better, in my opinion. So keep an eye out on that. Follow me on Twitter at Dear Bungie, and I will tweet it out as soon as it comes out. And I don't know, so excited to watch it. I also met him. I met him at the public event at Bungie, on the day of release, or the day prior to release of Destiny. Like there was just a bunch of people walking around, a bunch of Bungie employees walking around, and he's one of the people that I recognized from the internet. So that's definitely cool. Thank you for bringing that up, Agrios, because that's really cool. Um, all right, so
So
what's that?
a little tidbit that kind of amused me. As you know, we've been many of us have been playing the division lately, and there was a post earlier this week on the division subreddit that said, "Remember, if a special vendor shows up on Friday selling a high-end rocket launcher, buy it. Don't make the same mistake you did in a certain FPS."
That's pretty good.
That is really good.
Yeah, so that amused me, and there's also a post on the Destiny Reddit sharing this post on the Division subreddit and whatnot. So that was pretty amusing. I thought.
That is funny. All right, so it looks like we're getting out of here on time. No rush, no fuss. So I guess we'll do shout outs and then we'll split. And we will start with you, Agrios. Or no, we'll start with you, Sharks. Shout out. I mean,
Okay,
unless anybody else has anything they want to talk about. Okay, excellent. Sharks.
shout out to my parents for letting me ditch out on their St. Patrick's Day party so I could come and do the podcast tonight.
Oh man, for reals? That's awesome. You kick so much more ass than River, who definitely ditched us for his, for his
Oh,
St. Patrick's Day party.
oh! But my parents
Darn.
rocked too because they even said, "Here, take beer with you," and I was like, "No, I'll just go."
Your parents are awesome. um, Agrios.
I want to shout out to everybody who can manage to maintain their salt and understand that it takes time to make games, and who understands what Destiny is going through right now and is still able to look forward to content and like I said, keep a handle on the salt.
Excellent. Excellent. Jez.
Shout out to More Love and the rest of the people in that thing because that was pretty awesome. I just know, I don't really know More Love, but I remember hanging out with her at PAX and she was pretty cool.
That's awesome. I remember you shouting out to her like 50 episodes in a row.
No, I was shouting out to Holiday.
Were you?
Yeah.
I don't think so. You're wrong.
You're wrong.
I bet she is cool. She seems really cool. Crimson Warlock.
My shout out tonight's actually to a buddy of mine in real life. He doesn't play Destiny. He's a pretty big Nintendo gamer, but currently right now he's helping me try and jumpstart my career in a different direction. So shout out to my buddy Ken. We went to college together and he's just been great. So Thanks, man.
Yes, thanks, man. Excellent. My shout out, surprise, surprise, is to the agents of the grind, Spanky, Sean. Holy crap! Thank you so much for getting me to the lighthouse. It really is a big deal. It really is. You know, it may not be a big deal to you because you go there regularly, but if for somebody who's been wanting to go there for so long and hasn't really had a way of getting there, you made it seem so easy, and it was so much fun. And I cannot thank you guys enough. Additionally, Larry. Additionally, K-Dub. Sean, Larry, Spanky, K-Dub, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And that wraps up episode 75. I would like to thank everyone listening for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any questions or suggestions for topics to be discussed on the show, please leave them in the comments below or send them to feedback@guardian1.net, and we will see you next week.